Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name's Jenny Dumas. I'm one of the school counselors here at Los Altos High School. Welcome to 12th grade Parent Night webinar. I'm joined with Laura Durand, our College and Career Center coordinator, Angela Price, our College and Career Center advisor, Deanna Mistel Ali, one of the other school counselors at Los Altos High School, and Miss Michelle Bissonette, our assistant principal in charge of 12th grade students for Los Altos High School. We have a wonderful webinar prepared for all of you senior parents out there, and we hope that it's informational and exciting for you. If you are in need of translation, um, this is your cue to look and see how you do the interpretation for this webinar. We are happy to have Maria Herney with us tonight as well, who is translating this presentation for us. So we will go ahead and open up that room for you to go ahead and go into, and you just follow these steps on the screen for interpretation. Are we good? Awesome. Okay, so welcome everyone. As I said, we are here to support our 12th grade students and parents in this amazing journey of their senior year of high school. First, I just want to say that our goal, as always, is to support our community and our students in whatever their goals may be after high school. And we know it's an exciting but yet angsty and sometimes stressful time for parents and students, but it's also a really exciting time and a year full of hope and a lot of plans being made for the future. And so our goal, as always, is to support our students and families through that transition. On tonight's agenda, we are going to be talking about our counseling and career, college and career staff introductions. We're going to be talking about the support that we provide 12th grade families and students. We're talking a lot about the resources available at Los Altos High School, and we're fortunate enough to have so many resources. Miss Marcella Lee is going to talk about College of Letters and Recommendation, and then we'll turn it over to the second half of the presentation. We'll really be focused on our College and Career Center, post-secondary planning and application information. So we hope that there's something in here for everyone, no matter what your plan is for after high school. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. So, as I mentioned, I'm Jenny Dumas. I'm one of the school counselors here at Los Altos, but I'm joined by an amazing team: Ryan Carter, Jacob Lorraine, Deanna Misel Ali, Jamise Parker, Ariel Rojas, Tamisha Wise, and of course, our counseling assistant, Maite Vallado. We are broken up by alpha sort. So each student has an assigned counselor all 4 years at Los Altos. Hopefully, we've met all of you wonderful families at this point in their journey. And if you are unsure still who your school counselor is, you can find that assignment in Aries. But any of your questions that you might have about their academic journey, career and post-secondary planning, or any personal or social, emotional things that come up for you, we can always be your point person. Our goal is to support all of our students, and especially our 12th graders as this big transition happens for them at the end of this year. So, our 12th grade Los Altos High School counseling supports are really broken up into the three counseling domains that we as school counselors strive to serve our students and families. The first domain being the academic domain. So, we really are monitoring students' academic success, making sure that they're meeting their graduation requirements, and also for students who are college bound, whether that be 2 year or 4 year, meeting those college entrance requirements that you probably hear us refer to as the A through G requirements. The second domain that we focus on throughout senior year are building those 21st century skills, extracurricular activity, involvement, and their overall well-being. And we call this their personal social development. And really think about it in terms of like helping them figure out who they want to be, helping them develop who they are becoming, and then making sure that they're feeling supported in their overall well-being. So we're checking in with students throughout the school year doing that. And then the biggest chunk I think about what we're helping seniors with is this last piece, which is the career and college exploration. So making a plan for after high school, exploring careers, helping with academic or college support. And then if they're looking for scholarships and financial aid, we're doing that. And then, of course, helping them celebrate matriculation and those decisions towards the end of the school year. So we're really broken up into the three different domains: academic, personal, social, and career planning to help support all students at Los Altos High School succeed. So one of the very first things that we do this year as school counselors is check in with our 12th graders. Every senior student will have a one-on-one check-in with their counselor. And our objectives in those meetings are to review transcripts, make sure they're on track for graduation, and talk about what their post-secondary plan looks like. So anything from colleges to gap years to understanding community college pathways, maybe thinking about the military, whatever that post-secondary plan is, we're skilled to help, or we can connect them with resources that will allow them to succeed in accomplishing that goal or that plan. And again, in addition to coming up with a plan, we're building communication and organizational skills, helping them figure out what's next or where to start. And then we're also reviewing those school-wide available supports. So what this 12th grade check-in looks like for students is Miss Vallejo will send out a Minga pass to each of the seniors, letting them know when their scheduled appointment is. We also will send out an email reminder with the date and time. So your students should have those scheduled. They are scheduled. Your students should receive information on when those scheduled check-ins are within the next few weeks, and they'll get an email letting them know their date and time. If the date and time doesn't work for them, just have them reach out to Ms. Vallejo. We can reschedule, and those will be starting September or August 31st or September 1st for some of us, and will go throughout October. Okay, so our goal really is to touch base with each one of our seniors, talk about where they're at in their post-secondary process, and then help them through the next steps in regards to whatever their plan is. So sometimes that looks like taking them over to Miss Duran and Miss Price in the College and Career Center. Sometimes that looks like, oh, we need to review your transcript and make sure you're college eligible. We have everything that you need to graduate. We really try to meet the student where they are and help them through that process. So one of the tools that we use in our senior check-in is this graduation status report. You can find this in Aries. This is a tool that's available to all families. Your student has probably seen it numerous times throughout the years. As school counselors, we actually check your students' progress every year at each semester. We check to see their courses and grades. We make sure that they've passed all of their classes. We help register them for summer school. We've been doing that. That's how we're reporting their academic success. And one of the tools that we use, especially during senior year, is this graduation status report. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of pieces here on this report for you all. In this first column, it's what your student is currently enrolled in. So you see my student here has film analysis, civics and econ, AP psychology. They're an avid senior, culinary physics, trig and math. Sounds like a great senior year. So all in all, they are enrolled in 70 credits. The next thing we look at is, are there any credits left that they need completed? So that's the final column over there, needed credit. This person doesn't have any needed credits, which means they're enrolled in all that they need to be enrolled in to be able to meet graduation. And then the third place that we look is this total to make sure that the credits completed and the required credits reach 220, because 220 credits are what students need for graduation. So the graduation status is something we go over in that senior check-in, and it's something that we check in each semester of senior year to make sure everybody's on track for graduation. The second thing that we look at and we go over with seniors is their college or their high school transcript. Your transcript is a combination of all of the class or culmination of all the classes that you've taken throughout high school. It has your grades on there. We review it with seniors to make sure it's accurate, that all of the courses listed are on there and the grades are accurate as well. Counselors are also reviewing each transcript to make sure that students are meeting the A through G requirements, which is just a fancy way of colleges, the UCs and CSUs, to track their college requirements. So we make sure they have their 2 years of science, their 4 years of English, at least 2 years of a language or level two. They have their fine art requirement. They have their, 20 credits of history needed to be UC A through G eligible. And we also make sure that their GPA thresholds meet those required thresholds as well. Just as a reminder, for graduation requirements, a grade of a D or a D minus or better is what you need to graduate from high school to be college eligible in these A through G requirements. Students need to earn a C minus or higher in those A through G requirements. So that's also what we're checking to make sure. We've been doing this every year, each semester for your student. So at this point, there should be no surprises, but we always want to make sure that we're checking the most up-to-date information and making sure we support our students. A lot of times parents will ask about the different GPAs that are listed on the transcript for students. In this red box here, you'll see that there's 3 different GPAs listed, and they're also listed in weighted and non-weighted GPAs. What most often question we get is what GPA do colleges look at? And it's kind of different for all of the colleges. So there's no real straightforward answer. But the UCs and CSUs will use your weighted and unweighted A through G academic GPA from 10th through 12th grade, so that middle GPA. And then the GPA that we report to colleges is your academic weighted GPA. So for students, we want to make sure that on that common application, they're listing that weighted GPA, and we will talk about that in the Common App cheat sheet. Okay. We also have over here the Cal Grant GPA, which is used for our scholarship thresholds, and Mr. Ann will speak a little bit to that to different students and go from there. So I just wanted to clarify a few of those things that are listed on the GPA and all of the things that we look for as counselors to make sure your students are on track. We make sure that we're going over that with your seniors too. And your seniors will love to have a copy of their transcripts for when they fill out their college applications, because a lot of times they need to self-report their academic record. And so having the most up-to-date and accurate transcript is imperative when they're filling out those applications. So if they have any questions about what's on their transcript, or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to explain what that looks like and where to go. Okay, so just that's one of the tools that we do use in their senior appointments or senior check-ins. And then just thinking about student supports on campus, shifting away from some of the academic things that we do. We do have a lot of resources on campus for seniors. We know that it can be a stressful and exciting time, so we just want to revisit all of the supports and where they can find support on campus. Of course, as school counselors, we would love to be your point person for that. So if you are not sure where to go, please come and ask us. We're always available during brunch, during lunch, ACT. You can drop in, send us an email, or students can drop in, send us an email. Parents, we'd love to see your faces, but we love also to make an appointment. So just make sure that we're ready for whatever you might need. Of course, we encourage those 21st century skill building to make sure that students are talking to their teachers about assignments or grades or not understanding different things. They're always available. Our administrators, as I mentioned, Miss Bissonette is the senior year administrator. She's here for support. Our lovely College and Career Center advisors, Laura Duran and Angela Price, are available for any of your college application needs or post-secondary plan questions. We have our tutorial center, which is open throughout the day if students need tutoring. The library that's open until 4:30. Our wellness center for students who want to drop in and get some support. They have puzzles. There's stress relieving activities each week. So that's all there. And then if your student were to need school-based mental health counseling, we can help fill out a referral. So we have tons of resources for students. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you're unsure where to find that. And I said this already, but just to hit this home, if you're not sure who your counselor is, or you are not sure how to schedule an appointment with your counselor, our assignments are located in Aries. Students are welcome to drop in during lunch, brunch, a free period, or ACT. They can also reach out to us for additional availability or send us an email, and then parents can reach out via email or phone to request appointments when needed. A couple of resources for you all. Our website, it got a facelift last year and it looks amazing. And we're really excited to share our new logo and all of our wonderful information on here. So if students are ever looking for different things, everything from how do I get help from technology to, where is the ASB website to our yearly calendar, the website is a great place to start, and using that frequently used link right here is probably the best place to start. And then this is what the frequently used links paper looks like on the right. For parents, we have ongoing school-wide and counseling-specific information via Eagle News. We also post in Parent Square. This email or this presentation will be, posted for you all after this presentation. And then we have Naviance, and then we also send out emails. There is a parent student portal on here and Parent Square on our main website. So if you haven't registered or you need to register, that would be a really good place to start. And then anything pressing each week we'll put in the Eagle Community News. And of course, our Student Services website has a lot of useful information, anything from how do I order transcripts to how do I get in touch with my counselor to College and Career Center information and our College and Career Bulletin. Okay. So I just wanted to say that, before I turn it over to Miss Mustel Ali about who's going to talk a little bit and speak about letters of recommendation and counselor letter of recommendation, that we are here to support your students 100%. We are monitoring them throughout the year at every progress report and to make sure that they're making progress towards graduation and they maintain their college eligibility. We check Aries to update grade on grade updates. We look at semester grades. And then throughout semester 1 and semester 2, we're supporting students with college applications and scholarship applications. We're continuing to encourage students to check their college portals and emails. They're updating us with their post-secondary plans, and we're connecting them with resources. But encourage them at home to follow deadlines, explore financial aid and cost with them. And really, at the end of this semester, we're going to work with them to communicate their post-secondary plans so we know where they're all going and celebrating their successes. So I hope that you enjoy this next part about letters of recommendation. And then towards the end of the presentation, or towards the middle of the presentation, Ms. Duran and Ms. Price will take over with College and Career Center information. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Dumas. So I'm going to go over the letters of recommendation, both teacher and counselor, and some dates to be aware of that are coming up for your students. So we've been sharing this information with your students since the spring. We had a letter of recommendation workshop in May, and we will be having a follow-up, a fall one, this Friday during ACT. So we would love to see your students there. It will be an opportunity for them to get started on syncing up everything for the letter of recommendation process, including getting some work done in Naviance. So just bookmark that for reminder for your students. We'll hopefully see them during ACT on Friday in the Eagle Theater. The letters of recommendation. So we I want to give a quick overview of why letters of recommendation, right? So colleges that require letters or recommend letters really are looking for another perspective on your student. So who they are as a student, a classmate, and a person. The letters give colleges a sense of the student beyond their grades and activities. It brings them to life, and it provides context for them within their school. The teacher letters of recommendation, I'll go into in a minute, but typically speaking, 1 to 3 letters. Would be what we would be encouraging your students to consider. The requirements vary by institution, so it's important to look at the schools that your student is applying to and the number of letters that they are requesting. We teachers and ourselves, we send our letters through the Naviance portal, and that is where your students will be sharing with us all of the colleges that they're applying to. They will sync up their Common App and their Naviance accounts so that we can send our documents electronically and they can go to the schools that need the letters of recommendation. For the most part, a college that needs a letter of recommendation is going to be a school that is on the Common Application. So, for example, a UC school, with the exception of Berkeley, later on in the process, do not require letters of recommendation. That is also goes for CSUs. So we are happy to help your students navigate how to figure out which schools need letters and what their deadlines are. That's why Ms. Duran is here and Ms. Price is here, and all of the counselors are here to support your students with this process. Typically speaking, the letters are coming from their teachers at Los Altos or within MVLA, as well as their Los Altos school counselor. Some may allow an outside recommender, an additional recommender, but that could come from a coach or a mentor or a boss. But I'm going to kind of cover the overview of the teacher and counselor process for you here tonight. So moving on to the next slide. So we have encouraged your students to be touching base with their teachers at this point. If they have not yet, that's okay. There's time, but we would encourage you to your student to consider doing this within the next couple weeks as we have some deadlines coming up. The counselors and teachers have a separate process. Teachers have their own deadlines and they have their own requirements. They may ask their students for particular materials. For example, they may ask for their student to fill out a form explaining their involvement in their class, maybe some key assignments that they worked on. It really is on a case by case, or each teacher has their own process. So it's good to check in with the teacher early and understand what they are going to be needing. The focus of the teacher letter really is on the academic performance, how they've grown in the class, how they contributed to the class, how they interacted with their peers, what they were like in the classroom, and it will be pretty specific to that academic subject, of course. 11th grade core academic subjects would be preferred by the colleges, but again, that there's room for flexibility there. If your student has questions about asking a teacher or the ins and outs of that, please have them come into the College and Career Center or come see their counselor. We're happy to talk through how that might look for them as they're kind of navigating this process. The teachers submit their letters electronically through Naviance. Your students will invite their teachers in the Naviance platform. They will not use the Common App request. So we don't want them requesting the teachers through the Common App or the counselors through the Common App. They're going to do all of this in Naviance. And again, we're going to review this with them on Friday, and are happy to help them if there's some confusion around that. Okay. And then for counselors, we have a separate letter of rec questionnaire and request form. I'm going to show that to you in a minute. That is something that we ask our students to complete. There is a parent portion as well, so we're going to love to hear your feedback on your student, and for you to have the opportunity to share that is always special. The focus really of the counselor letter is a holistic view of your student. How have they been as a student in our high school community? What are some of the activities that they've been particularly committed to and involved in? Is there some contextual information that we're able to provide to the colleges about their life, about their responsibilities as a family member, things like that. So we have had the opportunity to meet with your students since their freshman year. We're getting to know them very well over these years. And we also are going to ask them for some specific information in this questionnaire so that they can give us even more detail, including a resume and things like that. So we also submit our letters through Naviance, and that is our platform that we will be using. And we'll take a quick look at the counselor request form. This is what the request form looks like. This will be and has been shared with students, but it is on our counseling website. It is on the College and Career Center website. We have gone over it in summer college boot camp. We did a spring session, and we're going to do a fall session as well. If your student, we will share it in Eagle News as well. If your student can't find it, just email us. We will get it to them. Okay. So this is initiated by your student. There's two parts to this rec request form. This is Form 1, and I'm going to talk about Form 2 in a minute. This is the part where your student will initiate. They will fill out the initial questions, and then they will route this document to one of their parents' email. So please be on the lookout for counselor letter of rec request form. It is from Informed K-12. And that will be something that will allow you to fill out the parent questionnaires. And once you're done, you would submit it and it will go directly to their school counselor. Okay, so that's Form 1 for the counselor letter of rec. And then Form 2, which is student directed and goes directly to us, will be the questionnaire. And these are the contextual information we need, the details, the things that the students really want us to highlight and emphasize. So we are asking that your students get started on these, as we have some deadlines coming up depending on when their first application is due. So I'll go into that next. So we have some deadlines because we have a high volume of students applying to college every year, and we have a high volume of letters to write. And so we want to prioritize these letters for your students. And so we are asking for your students to meet these deadlines for their counselors. So if your student has a deadline of November 15th or earlier as their first college application deadline, it may be an early action, early decision, restrictive early action, that type of deadline. We would need those two forms I just mentioned, the questionnaire and the counselor rec request form. We would need that back by Tuesday, September 8th. If your student has a deadline of after November 15th, then we would need those documents back by October 6th. And then any items that need to be sent prior to our winter break, we are asking for students to submit to us by December 8th. Okay. So just kind of a timeline of understanding what our dates are and on the materials that we send. So in the fall and the winter, counselors submit the letter of recommendation bundled with the secondary school report and the student's transcript. The teachers submit their letters of recommendation separately by that first deadline. By the end of after first semester is done, at the end of January, we would send a mid-year report or in a mid-year transcript to your student's school. And then as a final checkout, as part of their senior checkout, they're going to tell us where they want their final transcript, where they're going to be attending, and where they want their final transcript sent. We also complete a final report. And our registrar submits the transcripts and the reports in July. Okay, so most predominantly we're using Naviance eDocs to submit all of these documents for your student. All right, and I think that takes care of my part, so I will go ahead and turn it over to our college advisors. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So it's our pleasure to be here tonight with you all. I'm Laura Duran. I'm the college and career counselor. And after I do my slides, Angela Price will come on and speak with everybody tonight. So again, thank you for being here. So in the College and Career Center, we offer both online and in-person resources. For current seniors, we're using Naviance as that college and career exploration platform. Just this week, we started with college rep visits, and that will continue through the first week of November. We provide information about scholarships, volunteering, internships, and jobs. We also have a digital version and a physical version of the MBLA College Counseling Handbook that is both in English and Spanish for families and students. For ACT workshops, we have a series of workshops that are designed to answer frequently asked questions or to help support students in various exploration pathways. This can include college essays, UC and CSU applications, Common App, community college, international universities, drop-in help, or sometimes we have guest speakers or presentations during ACT workshop time. So here's a screenshot of the College and Career Center page on the LHS website, and we do encourage you to go check this out. This is the top section with, on the right-hand side, you have a couple of those frequently used blue buttons that we really want to draw people's attention to. But if you scroll down past our photo, you'll see that there's a lot of other information and links that we think are useful, again, for frequently asked questions or specific groups of people who might be interested in getting a job or they want to learn more about apprenticeship and internships, skilled training, things like that. So please do check that out. And then we also have an Instagram page. And I think a lot of times I'll restory things that I think are really essential for students or families to know about. So it's good to follow because it's another way for us to push out time-sensitive information or updates that come through digitally. But we always repeat information in other places as well. And then here are a couple images of books that we have in the College and Career Center for students to pick up if they're curious. We just got a new set of FIS guides. I really like FIS guides because they give sort of a neutral third-party assessment of various schools, and they have a really cool feature of overlap schools. So let's say your student says, oh, I'm kind of interested in Oberlin. Okay, well, let's see what other colleges might be similar. And the FIS guide shows overlap schools, which is a cool tool. We also have college admissions books. We have books from people in various expert opinions about looking at college or how we can look at that experience, paying for college, finding your major. So a lot of different physical resources in the College and Career Center. And this is a frequent question on a lot of people's minds, which is paying for college. California passed a law a few years ago that every single senior must complete some type of financial aid form to graduate. And the two forms that students can fill out for financial aid, it's the FAFSA or the California Dream Act application. Both of these applications open up on August 1st. If a family does not want to complete one of the two financial aid applications, they can complete a third option, which is the MVLA opt out form. Your students were in the College and Career Center over the last 2 weeks. We gave them this information. We had them do a little activity where they're supposed to read about what these are and what might apply to them. So if they didn't come home and talk to you about that, we want you to have the information as well. But we encourage families to ask questions about this. We're here to support. We will have a workshop, which I'll show in a few slides from now. But just know that this is your best first source of financial aid. And for students that are applying to private schools, some schools use an additional form called the CSS profile. It would be worthwhile, I think, for you to look at that list of colleges that participate so that you're not caught off guard, that there's another form for you to complete in order to get institutional aid to the school that your student's applying to. So I know it's a lot, but we're here to help. And the big takeaway is the forms will open up on October 1st. So you have some time to do some research or email and ask what applies for you. And then just making people aware that there's also a program called the Western Undergraduate Exchange. You'll sometimes hear people say WUI, and that is a discount on tuition for participating universities in the Western states. It can depend on major and campus. So if this is something that you or your student is interested in, it's worth going to a particular school's website, looking to see that the major that they're interested in does qualify for the WUI tuition discount. And it's just another good thing to be aware of. All right, so upcoming events. I was getting excited because I knew the MVLA College Fair was going to be on this slide. We're really excited to be hosting at Los Altos this year. It's going to be on September 22nd. That's a Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m. We have 81 schools confirmed, both domestic and a few international. And we're just really excited to showcase our campus, have our students interact with these reps, ask their questions. Both parents and students can pre-register on StriveScan, and that has gone out to students, and I'll be sending something out to parents as well. But that allows you to enter your information before attending the fair, and then it's very quick to scan into those booths when you're there. And the table map and participant list will be shared very soon as well. There's also the UC and CSU Information Night on October 14th. That will be from 6 to 8 p.m. virtually. So the CSU campus will do the first hour, walk through all the updates. The second hour will UC walking through all the application and all the updates. So that's a really great night. All of this, that will be recorded and posted on the YouTube channel. We also host an event every spring called Countdown to College. And the recordings from that event are on the YouTube channel. So here we have quick links for 25 and 26, but they go back for other years. So that's another place where you can see a session on college case study or the WUI scholarship or supplemental essays or just a wide variety of topics, gap year. And then we have the YouTube channel link there. But if you go to YouTube and you type in MVLA College and Career, you'll see our channel, and Mountain View and Los Altos both upload content there. And then we will be pushing out information on financial aid workshops. We're thinking the first one will be the first week of December. But again, if you would like to get going on that before, things open up on October 1st, and we're happy to help you. And we're also excited. There's a new state seal of civic engagement. We know that our students are very civically minded and driven. And so for seniors who are interested, there's a new opportunity to complete a project. And so more information will be sent out to students and families, but we just wanted to amplify that message here and link for more information if this sounds like your student. And with that, I will pass it to our wonderful college advisor, Ms. Price.
Good afternoon. And like my co-host, welcome, and so glad to have you guys out tonight so we can get started on a process that actually Mr. Rand and I started with your seniors in their junior year last year working with them. So last year I met with over 250 juniors. Some of them probably are your children, and they've had one-on-one meetings already. But if they didn't have a one-on-one meeting and would like to have one, they can sign up for their one-on-one meetings right away. My link is already on our CCC website, and kids could go in and make an appointment, and parents are always welcome. Those one-on-one meetings focus on college fit, create a list and deadlines for the students and tell them their next task that they need to follow through on. Decide on a day, that family could talk about their college process. I tell them to sit down, have you guys buy pizza, and just talk very casually about the things they're interested in, the colleges that they may be considering, so that the family is aware of what the student is thinking about for themselves. And to put the students in the driver's seat. We're going to help them. We won't have our foot on the gas, but we certainly will not let them drive in the ditch. Mr. Ray and I are very committed to making sure that your kids land well. We want them to get in the seat, but we're going to help them. So, and if you have questions, anytime that your student comes home and say something that I've said or share it with them, you can rely on that. It will be in an email from me, and I also send the summary reports of our meetings out to students on the email. I don't share it with the parents because it is the students, college list and the things that we talked about. But you're welcome to be in the meetings, and students are welcome to share those summaries with you anytime. So we're happy that we live in a country like the US, where there are so many opportunities for our children. I never am pressed against a wall that I can't come up with a college that your student is thinking about and considering. Always options for our kids. There's over 116 California community colleges, 22 Cal State universities, 9 universities of California campuses in California alone. And when you think about the schools that are out of state, there's almost 1,200 plus private and public out-of-state schools. Lots of opportunities for our children. There's never one college for our students. There are many, many colleges, and that's my goal, is to work with them and help them find those fits. So community college, let me give you a little bit of overview. So the students can pursue the general education associate degree through the community college. And the wonderful news is that they can transfer and fill out a transfer agreement with TAG as well. There are certificate options, career apprenticeship programs. They can explore coursework for personal interests. Students can complete major prerequisite courses at a community college. And, which is critical to transferring to many of our UCs and CSU campuses. And there's also the California Promise, where kids will just sign on a dotted line and say that they will complete their first 2 years at community college to move on to a four-year school. I think that the most important thing I tell kids who are thinking about community college is that, remember, the University of California takes 60 units from community college. That tells you how much they value the work that is done in our community colleges. California State Universities, all up and down the California coastline, from the middle of the state to where the water meets. And so I think that applications opened up August 1, actually. So students have already started to fill in those CSU applications. They can choose their campus and majors. It takes about 45 to 60 minutes to complete the application. And the filing period will be still very late, begin October 1 through November 30th. And I encourage students to apply to our Cal State campuses as well as our UC campuses. But if your students have a preference, it is entirely up to them. We will help them, put them on a computer and get them started. CSU admission requirements. This is what I love. 2.5 weighted GPA, 10th and 11th grades A through G coursework. Grades are self-reported on the application, and transcripts are sent at the end of the year unless requested by campus prior to that. SATs or ACT is not considered for admissions. Another thing that Mr. Ray and I love about our California colleges. No essays or recommendation letters, and students, unless they're applying to a special program for first-gen underrepresented students called the EOP program. And we'll talk about that a little later. University of California, one application for all 9 undergraduate campuses. Application opened up August 1, and thanks to boot camp, a lot of our kids have already begun to fill out their UC applications and understand what's required of them in that application. The filing period is October 1 through November 30th. Minimum GPA 3.0 weighted GPA. And 10th and 11th grades are considered only in terms of admissions for A through G coursework. And so I think that, we have opportunities in California for our students. And Mr. Rand and I definitely support our students applying to California schools if that's what they want, and making sure that they, take that opportunity to get started on their applications. So inside the UC admissions application process, still very simple. There's 4 personal insight questions. They're 4 short answers, 350 words each. Activities and award sections, about 20 spaces. No letters of recommendation accepted. The student will advocate for themselves through their personal insight questions and their activities in that application. UC will occasionally ask for a recommendation if they're reviewing the student, but they will send an email specific to the student and saying, please submit a recommendation. Otherwise, there are no recommendations accepted. Self-reported grades on the application, and students can create a check UC application. Students can check their UC application on their portals once they set up their application. SATs or ACTs are not required. Again, very simple applications for the UCs, and our students are well qualified. I love the fact that our counselors have done such a great job with A through G that it is so easy when I sit down and talk to them about applying to UCs. Next slide. So private and out-of-state colleges, well, that's when it gets into a little bit of more difficult in determining what those colleges will actually make their decisions on. But there's over 1,200 colleges, and they use the Common App. So does 800 plus other colleges using the Common App, thank goodness. Some colleges use their own application, and they will send a student an email saying, you can apply straight to us if you want to, and that's definitely up to the student's choice. We can work with the student with that application as well. They will open up on their device, and we will help them. Counselor and teacher recommendation letters are required and are looked at very strongly in this application process. So LA, the Los Altos High School, of course, use Naviance and send all supporting documents through Naviance for our kids. But the counselor and teacher recommendations are something that is common in the college application process for Common App schools, and they require it and they use it in the process. Essays or personal statements are typically required, and usually right now we have 7. They have 7 essay options in the Common App the students can choose from, and it doesn't matter which prompt they choose. They all looked at equally, hopefully giving the student opportunity to advocate for themselves and tell the colleges a lot more about themselves. And that's where it gets a little more different from the UCs, is that the personal statements also are used in the Common App to really get a feel and a sense of the student. And so it's one 650-word essay that's required, but there's also 2 other parts of the essay application that students can advocate for themselves. There's a spot that asks if a student has a challenge, and then there's another little area that says if they have extra information they would like to supply to the Common App. So all the colleges are really giving students a lot of opportunity within their applications to advocate for themselves, to tell them who they are. And Mr. Rand and I work really closely with our students, making sure that they answer the prompts, dig deep and show their best selves in the applications. You can check the 2026-27 testing requirements for each individual school. All the schools are a little different. You will see the more selected schools will want to see a SAT or ACT, but we have so many colleges that are test optional that if students do not really want to take a test and they really can find a school that they want to apply to, they can find a test optional school and bypass testing if that's what they would like. Students are responsible for sending their own test scores to their colleges. Some colleges will let them self-report, and then they need to see the official test scores later. But we don't have access to the college board, only your students do, and your students have to go and request those tests to be sent out. And what should students do now? Take a breather. I always tell them that they have time. They need to maintain their progress on the A through G course requirements and keep their grades up. Review requirements for schools on their college list. That's why the list is important, that they have a list that's manageable and that they are able to do their research for. Complete council letter recommendation package materials on time. That will help the counselors generate letters for them on time. So dates and times are really important in terms of submitting information for your students. Ask 1 or 2 teachers to write an academic requirement academic recommendation for them. We asked students last year in all of my advising appointments in junior year. I reminded them that they needed to ask their teachers before they went on spring break in their in their junior year. So if they haven't done that, they need to do it right away, depending on the college who will require a college recommendation from them. So I think that, it's something that's manageable. We're just going through the process now, and if kids are just, reading and following the guidelines, they will be fine. We want them to check their emails and Canvas regularly because that's how colleges communicate with them through emails, and that's how we're going to communicate with them through emails. I will send students emails all the time asking them to see me, talk to me. I needed to have them do a form for me to tell me what they're looking for in their colleges. So they really do need to check their emails, and I respond directly to the kids when they email me, and also respond to parents too. You guys are more than happy to ask me a question if you have a question about the process. A few last things. So we want to remind students again to check their emails and the college application portals frequently. Use a professional sounding email address. Colleges do not tend to want to see an email that's made up of a joke or you're trying to be funny. So be professional when you're doing your emails and that you're creating for your application. And be careful about what you post on social media. Admissions directors regularly check social media. They're just like everybody else. They're on there. And so kids want to be careful. Social media is not a diary. You don't want to put things in there that are personal and about yourself that no one should know about. So you shouldn't be using those options on your social media. We tell kids all the time, if it's out in the public, it's out in the public. That means admissions people can see it too. And pay attention to meeting deadlines. One thing that I've never been able to do is to talk a college into accepting the application after the deadline is closed. So it is very difficult, and kids need to meet deadlines if when they're applying to their colleges. And take advantage of us. Come in. We want the kids to come in all the time. You should tell them to come if they have a question. I would rather they ask me a question and hear the truth than to worry about it and to stress about something that's not even truthful in the college application process. Students come in with so much information. They'll say things like, Ms. Price, Brown University is not admitting any of our students. And that's not true, actually. Brown doesn't admit 98% of students in the country. I would like to tell you that we're unique in the pool, but we're not. I did call Brown and have a conversation with the Dean of Admissions, and I can honestly say to you, there's no, they have no ill will against Los Altos. And so we want students to ask us those questions. I'd rather make a phone call and make them feel better about it than to have them worried about something that's not true. So that's all I have to say tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming. I hope it's been helpful. I know it's a lot of information, but keep in mind, we keep saying it over and over again all the time. And your kids are always welcome in the College Center. Mr. Rand, I always here to help them.
Just a quick, since we have a few minutes at the end, just some questions that came up in the chat that I want to make sure that we address for all people, and so that everyone knows. Class size, senior class size, that's a question that is often asked on the Common Application, and we won't know the graduating class size until the second week of September. Okay, so we will when we meet with your student, we'll let them know. If the exact size is not correct, it's not going to be a ding in their application. It's just they want to know what the graduating class size looks like. We also send out a school profile with each of our applications through Naviance. So colleges and universities will able to get the context. We'll be able to get the context of Los Altos High School students by that school profile. And another question that had come up was talking about whether or not counselors or our if counselors or our school rank students, and we do not. So we don't include class rank or any kind of ranking in our reporting of students either. With our counselor letter of recommendation and school report, we really focus on the holistic view of the student, their growth over the last 4 years, what they've been involved in, and really try to celebrate our students' strengths, because that's what colleges are looking for more than what they're ranked out of out of our class size. Okay. Um, Another class or another question that came up, Laura, is about what GPA colleges use, and if it's the weighted GPA or the non-weighted GPA. I was wondering if I could put you on the spot to answer that question.
Yeah, sure. So on the college app, students will enter all of the coursework that they've completed from any credit issuing institution. So I'm just taking this opportunity to say if your student took a math class at St. Francis High School and it's on the Los Altos High School transcript, they're still going to enter that they took a class at St. Francis. It's not now a Los Altos High School class because it's on their LHS transcript. Same with community college classes or really any class from any college or university that they've attended or high school that's not Los Altos. UC Scout will be entered as UC Scout. So once the student enters all of their academic information, each college will use that information with their own institutional methodologies. So we know some schools pull some classes out. Some schools will use an unweighted and a weighted GPA. Some schools will cap how many weighted classes that they include. And so I think our big message is always students should take classes that are challenging and academically appropriate and do the best that they can in those classes. And then just make sure that they're accurately reporting things on their college apps. And then if they do have college coursework, that sometimes they will need to send copies of that transcript when they're applying. So it's not, it might be something that they need to do sooner than later. So just don't have your student think, oh, because it's on the LHS transcript, I don't have to send something from Foothill or De Anza. And we definitely help students with that. I also just put something in the chat, which was not prompted, but we have an LHS college application quick guide. It's a Notion doc that's open to families and students and supporters of our students that has a lot of information for LHS specific things, including that Common App info sheet that the counselors update each year. So it will say things like, we don't rank, you use your academic weighted GPA, we're on a 4-point scale, and the class size. So they'll be shared and emailed out, but this is another place where anyone can find that information if you just want to double check or look.
And then, Laura, could you also speak to the 9% eligibility in the local context for UC's admission?
Yeah. ELC is eligibility in local context for the UCs, and the district provides the UCs with a list of the top 11 or 12% of the junior class in the springtime. They give that to the UCs, and then the UC does their own process to identify who the top 9% of the students from Los Altos High School are. And then when a student applies, and then later in their portal, there'll be a little distinction that says you are identified as having ELC status. What that actually means for our students at Los Altos High School is that if they don't get into any UC campus that they've applied to, they would have a spot at UC Merced. The reality is that our top 9% of students at Los Altos High School would most likely be admitted to UC Merced based on their academic profile. So ELC at our school doesn't actually change things. It might be different if we were at a different school or we had a different profile, but we participate because the UC encourages California public schools to participate in the program, and we want to give our students every benefit that they can. And so we are happy participants in the program.
And that takes us to 7 o'clock, and we just wanted to thank you all so much. We know you have busy lives. There's a lot of information coming at you in this presentation, and really just want to say we're here for support. And we're here to support both students and families. So if you have any questions or need any guidance in this time, please reach out to us, and we're happy to celebrate your student, celebrate your family on this journey. It's an exciting time, and we just really want to make sure that they make the most of senior year. Thank you so much for joining, and a special thank you to our MVLA High School Foundation for all that they do to fund our College and Career Center, and also the support for all of the students utilizing the center throughout their 4 years. Thank you so much for being here.